The sellout crowd, that's not unusual, but the emotion that is riding higher in Dallas is unusual in this cool, calm establishment city, because one would think with the Raiders in town that Darth Vader is here to kidnap little orphan Annie. The Cowboy fans, they don't get up too much, neither the Cowboy players, but we've got a lot of emotion going in this one. The undefeated Cowboys already midway through the season looking for perhaps an undefeated season. They're 7-0. The last time they went 7-0 was in '77, and they won the Super Bowl that year. The Raiders, a good, strong, tough football team. They won 4 in a row. They've dropped 2 of the last 3, but they are all hands present tonight, and we're looking for quite a football game. And for the Raiders, as I turn to my colleagues, O.J. Simpson and Don Meredith, Howard Cosell not with us tonight, getting a much-needed vacation after the telecast of the World Series and working on Battle of Network Stars and, of course, his sports beat. So, O.J., for the Raiders tonight, a change at quarterback, and a dramatic one.
Well, there's been the big news for the Raiders this week has been Marc Wilson. Early in the week, the fact that he would replace Plunkett, and late in the week, his new contract. Friday, he signed a 5-year contract for a reputed $4 million. Now, there's a lot of different stories as to the events that led up to that signing. We'll talk about that a little later. The Raiders entered the stadium tonight with the #1 defense in the NFL, but that hasn't been enough. They've been victimized by a host of problems on offense. They hope Marc Wilson will solve that tonight. But they're going up against a tough one tonight, Danny, and the Dallas Cowboys undefeated.
Sure, think what they paid that guy who's been starting all along. That's really amazing. The Cowboys played probably their best game last week against Philadelphia. They've won 7, as everybody knows, and haven't lost yet. But the game against Philadelphia showed a little bit of the spark that Coach Landry's been looking for the Cowboys. Danny White, as a starting quarterback here in Texas Stadium, started 27 ball games and has won 25 of them. Pretty good record. Yet, folks still want a little bit more. Going to have a good ball game. I think the Cowboys are ready for it. So, Frank, let's get this thing kicked off.
And this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Buick for coming tonight. Seriously, the Raiders, having been at odds with much of the establishment of the NFL. And, of course, when you talk of establishment, you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. As you can see, the Cowboys have won the toss. They have dropped Rod Hill and Ron Fellows deep to receive the kick of Chris Bahr. And we are going to see the change that O.J. mentioned. Marc Wilson opening for this man, who really had himself a tough time last week against Seattle. 3 interceptions, a couple of costly fumbles, and perhaps given a little rest, we'll see Jim Plunkett later in the year. That remains to be seen. We're underway. Bahr, high kick, and it goes to Rod Hill at the 6-yard line. Hill up the sideline, and Hill out close to the 30-yard line. So the Dallas Cowboys will have good field position, and Danny White trots on to the field. And Danny White, well, what can you say? He has not lost a football game this season, and still every now and then he hears the cries of "We want Gary Hogaboom." That, of course, from the fine performance of Hogaboom in the past couple of pre-seasons and in the NFC Championship a year ago when Danny White was knocked out of that game. We open with 2 tight end offense for the Cowboys. That'll be Doug Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. The setback, Tony Dorsett. Gifted, talented offensive unit. This is Dorsett. And Dorsett taken down from behind. Lyle Alzado now in his 13th year, and a real inspiration to this defense as we look at them now. They'll change considerably. That's the front 3, but we'll see a lot of Greg Townsend, a rookie from TCU, and Bill Pickell, another rookie. Those are your linebackers, and the aging wonder, Ted Hendricks, just rolls along. Good secondary. Mike Davis, strong safety, suffering from a broken hand, but still in there with a covering on it. As Tony Dorsett, you will notice, still has his hand bandaged, but the large cast looks like it's been shortened somewhat. There was a loss of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 12. The ball at the 28-yard line for Dallas. Drew Pearson, top of your screen, 1 wide receiver. This is Dorsett. Good. And a quick move to pick up another couple of yards. Short of the 1st down, however, out over the 35 to the 36, where it will be 3rd down and 4. Ted Watts up there defensively. And Don, what can you say when you watch this young man? He has made a lot of yards this year, and some of them have been so tough.
Good little counter move by Tony. You see, come back, pick up the lead guard. There's a good move right there. Ted Watts says, I'm going to have to be looking at this all night. Hold on. Tony's a good one, Frank, and we've seen him play a lot of good ball games. Hate to use that word, a good one. He's much better than a good one. You know, he's a heck of a football player.
Newsom is in. Number 30, Ron Springs, a good running back and a good receiver out of the backfield. He's coming off 3 consecutive games of 100 yards or more running and receiving. That's Ron Springs, but Danny White now out of the shotgun, 3rd and 4. And Cosby over the middle, he couldn't hold on. Swarming Raider defense. And the Cowboys, first possession, will have to punt away as Tom Landry, with that unbelievable record, 5 Super Bowls involved, and they're thinking Super Bowl down here in Dallas. You can be sure of that this year. Greg Pruitt, the veteran who has performed so well, not only for the Raiders, but for so many years with Cleveland, drops back. John Warren, his first year in relief of Danny White, as a Cowboy punter, a rookie free agent out of Tennessee, will punt for Dallas. And, of course, Greg Pruitt with a fine return average. He had that big one against Washington early in the year, 97 yards. Warren hangs it up. Fair catch called for at the 30-yard line. And so the Raiders will have good field position. And already there's a little flare-up on the field. And we are going to watch Marc Wilson come out. One big, fat, new contract. Last year, Wilson only had 2 attempts. He came in last week with the Raiders in deep trouble in the 4th quarter. He was 8 of 11. He produced 2 touchdowns on 106 yards. His big year was in '81 when Plunkett had a sore thumb, and he started 9 games. He had some great moments. He had some questionable moments. But he's got a fat wallet, and there is much talk among the Raiders players, and we'll talk about that a little later on.
Well, let's take a look at the Cowboys. They will be blitzing quite a bit tonight, and you'll be seeing Wilson roll out a lot to get away from some of that pressure.
Of course, when you get a young quarterback, why not? On 1st and 10, Wilson, the big man, steps up into the pocket. And that ball batted away. Everson Walls knocking it out of the hands of Malcolm Barnwell, and there was a good surge by the Dallas defense quickly.
We'll see the end of the play. One of the best defensive backs in this game today. Everson comes up, and he had to play well defense. Actually, the Raiders were trying to roll out that time, and I think it may have messed up their timing a little bit. Too Tall Jones got in the way of the rollout.
And Everson plays the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does.
Across, put that right hand out there and knocked it away.
2nd down and 10. The Raiders at the 30-yard line. Ball is loose, and the Cowboys are covering.
A ball right there.
Marc Wilson just spinning away from the center, and there is trouble brewing at the bottom of that pile. There is some flailing going on.
There's going to be a lot of that. You know, I didn't even wait. This is his first series.
Well, Henry Lawrence made one of the cardinal mistakes. He started the fight while he was on the ground.
You know,
flags are down. You saw the recovery made by Ed Jones and the appropriate boos from the partisan Cowboy fans. It does not belie the fact that the Dallas Cowboys get the turnover, and this is what really has hampered the Raiders in the last few weeks, the turnovers, and they have turned it over in their first series.
Just in case there's any doubt, the Raiders let's get this thing going.
We have offsetting personal fouls, unnecessary roughness, number 70 black, 44 white, penalties refused, an offset, first down.
So the penalty, Henry Lawrence for the Cowboys. And they said Robert Newhouse. That, of course, not the case for Dallas.
Well, there was a lot of talk this week about the jerseys, that the Raiders would have to wear black and the good team would be wearing the white. I believe the Raiders, part of their game plan is to turn those white and blue uniforms red, white, and blue. As you can see, he never got the ball. This is something you do expect with a new quarterback in there in game situations.
1st down and 10, 34-yard line. Marc Wilson spinning away, just left the ball with the quarterback, and this is the man we spoke of. Springs out of the backfield, down the sidelines, inside the 20 to the 17. Dallas 1st down, and there's another flare-up. Ron Springs getting into a little bit of a shoving match with Van McElroy, the free safety for the Raiders. Drew Pearson was also involved in that. And Dallas gets their 1st down.
The Raiders had a blitz on that time, and Matt Millen was caught trying to cover Ron Springs, and it just won't happen.
Basic
it can't be done.
Basic mismatch.
Danny White passing just under 62% of the year. 12 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Last week, 24-37. And beating Philadelphia 37-7. He also had 2 touchdowns. 1st down and 10, the ball inside the 18-yard line. Springs, single setback. He'll try the right side. Springs, strong at 218 pounds. Bulls close to the 15-yard line for a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Matt Millen and Reggie Kinlaw defensively for the Raiders.
Kurt Peterson, right guard. They're really proud of the offensive line down here. We've talked about it many times before, but Jim Myers thinks in Donovan, Scott, Rafferty, Peterson. Cooper's a little hurt tonight. We may see limited action from him.
We have Paz Derrick in at right tackle instead of Jim Cooper, Don.
But they don't feel like they lose much when they got Paz Derrick in there is the point.
2nd down and a long 8. Out of the eye, Tony deep, about 8 yards. Danny White, timing pattern, looking for Tony Hill, and good coverage by Ted Watts. Danny White had to hang it up out of the end zone, incomplete, 3rd down and 8.
You'll be seeing that play on Ted a lot tonight because Ted is one of these corners that like to cover his man with his back to the quarterback, and he doesn't really sense when the ball is there well. And he's been beaten even though he's had his man covered quite often this year.
You saw Tony Hill. He has been out of action for 4 weeks, the leading Cowboy receiver over the past 4 years. He's back tonight. He's had a very sore foot. 3rd down and 8. Raiders now drop into their 4-man front with a good pass rush. This is Springs. He'll throw it. And he throws it back to Danny White.
I love it. Hot doggies. That was Tim Newsom, wasn't it?
That was a double flea flicker.
Oh, man. White. That's fun.
I say down on the goal line when you're playing a lot of man-to-man, there's nobody's assigned to cover White.
Nobody covers the quarterback, right? Well, they could have messed
great call.
Good mess Dallas up because they scored first.
Newsom does a good job of making it look like a run.
It is Ron Springs, as a matter of fact.
Springs, and he turns around left-handed.
Yeah.
That may have thrown him off also.
Caught him off balance. Oh, his White got to be happy. Quarterbacks don't get to do that.
On a 3rd down and 8. The flea flicker back to the quarterback, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. And Dallas is on the scoreboard. Early moments of the first quarter. Rafael Septien for the conversion. Septien having a great year. And if you're wondering about the eligibility of Danny White, the snap came from the shotgun. And that makes him an eligible man. Had he been under the center, he could not have executed that play. 12:40 remaining in the first quarter. Cowboys on top 7-0. Over, and they have been providing nightmares for the Raiders and their fans. Marc Wilson just pulling away from the center, left the ball. It was recovered by Big Ed Jones. The Cowboys took it in. A touchdown pass away from Ron Springs to quarterback Dan White working out of the shotgun. Septien to kick off. Greg threw it is deep. And this will be Clee Montgomery. Montgomery hammered at the 20, running forward to the 22, and there they go again.
That was that Bill Bates. I'm telling you, he's really become a heartthrob down here. He's a special teams player. He's down there first almost every time.
24-yard line, 1st down and 10. Marc Wilson steps into the huddle once again. Of course, Marc Wilson has waited in the wings for Jim Plunkett. In his 4th year, had a tremendous career at Brigham Young, set 11 NCAA passing records. Looks over the Dallas defense. It's familiar. It doesn't change much. The 4-3 on a 1st and 10. Marcus Allen. He gets about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Let's take a look at that Cowboy defense. We haven't had a chance yet. Ed Jones on the left side. It'll change considerably. There's a young man named Don Smerick they'd like to bring on the pass rush. Anthony Dickinson, the best of the pass defenders for that linebacking core, and we've already spoke of Everson Walls. And we will see a lot of Bill Bates, whom Don spoke of a moment ago, as well as Ron Fellows in that secondary. Allen got 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The ball at the 23-yard line. Cliff Branch, he's been out for 3 weeks. Pulled hamstring. He's up at the top of your screen. He's the deep threat. Movement by the Raiders on the right side.
Oh, boy, did he fire out.
I think Henry Lawrence is trying to get a little even with Too Tall for the little scuffle they had earlier in the game.
Now back to them at 5 with the procedure call. So Marc Wilson finding it a little tough sledding here early, O.J.
Well, he has a lot on his mind. There was a little controversy today. As we know, Mr. Donald Trump, the owners of New Jersey Generals, went on TV and said he wasn't about to sign Marc, and that they literally played Al Davis like a drum. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit after this play. Marc says that they were about to sign him, and he would have, in fact, signed Friday with the New Jersey Generals and Mr. Trump if Mr. Davis hadn't come up with his offer.
On 2nd and long. Branch is open. And Branch really wide open, working in front of Dennis Thurman. He'll have the 1st down out over the 40-yard line. That time, the Cowboys in single coverage with Thurman on Cliff Branch. And in speed terms, that is a total mismatch, and Thurman laid way off.
Well, he has to get open quick because the Cowboys will be doing an awful lot of blitzing. Even when he threw the ball here, Randy White was right in his face. The linebackers were all coming. So they're trying to get him open quick, and after a while, you'll see him try to beat him deep. But the Cowboys will give him a big cushion all night long.
First down is at the 42-yard line of the Raiders. Single setback. Wilson, a little bit of a play action. Looking for Barnwell over the middle and almost picked off. Stepping right in front of that pass was Michael Downs, and he clapped his hands and he thought to himself, I just blew a touchdown.
Marc Wilson got up a little slowly that time. Again, I think it was Randy White and possibly Jones in the middle. Let's see it again. He had plenty of time for a while, and then the protection kind of collapsed. He couldn't get anybody open. Again, might be a little bit of inexperience. That's Jones coming in. Randy White was close. When he got up, he limped a little.
Well, Don, you said he looked a little tight in the warm-ups, and he didn't look too comfortable back there on that pass.
The big problem was downfield. Walls had Barnwell covered well. Second down and 10. Here comes the safety blitz, but they were in a running game.
Safety still got the tackle, though.
And Marcus Allen gets a couple of yards to the 45-yard line, where it'll be third down and long. We see the change as Fellows comes in, Bill Bates comes in, and we will see defensive line changes as Dutton goes out. Smearick comes in. Situational substitution is the new phrase of the 80s. Third down, long yardage, faces Marc Wilson.
I've got a way to beat that, Frank. I know how to beat that substitution stuff. You get up there and call all your lines for the plays from the line of scrimmage. That's what you do. Of course it is. Or make them up.
Third and 7. The blitz is on. Wilson goes down. He is sacked by Anthony Dickerson inside the 40-yard line to bring up fourth down.
Well, they brought everybody. They brought 7 men. They double-teamed Todd Christensen and the defensive backs Walls. And Munson was able to stay with the wide men.
I question the logic of that call. The Cowboys had 2 extra defenders in deep. They tried to send both Branch and Barnwell very deep.
That's kind of clever.
Under the blitz, Wilson did not have time. Ray Guy having a superb year, averaging a little over 44 yards, the best since his rookie year, at least thus far in the season. Rod Hill deep for the Cowboys, respecting Guy. Hill inside his own 15-yard line. Whistles and flags are down.
Too much time.
And they have used too much time in getting off the punt. So we'll see that once again.
A little nervousness on the part of the Raiders, it appears to me. Not only Marc Wilson, but they're all a little edgy. I think the Raiders came in and felt they had a reputation to uphold by starting a few fisticuffs, and maybe the Cowboys are saying, you're not going to get me involved that way.
Well,
that's a great shot of Guy.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders are a team that like to intimidate. When we were in Buffalo, we said we had to get as many aggressive penalties as they got. Not offsides, but if we got roughing the kicker, or roughing the runner or something, we'd be happy. We had to equal them to beat them.
That's an awful way to go play that game.
Well, that's the way you got to play them.
5-yard assessment. Guy once again. End over end. Rod Hill steps up to the 23, bobbles the ball, picks it up.
Good move.
Rod Hill with a good move to get back to the 25-yard line, where the Cowboys, with a 7-0 lead, 9:41 remaining in the first quarter, will take possession. Ray Guy, 42-yard punt. Final instructions from Tom Landry to Danny White. Out. Why didn't they finish the top? It is a beautiful facility, though.
One of the few that when you go around the league, you see that specifically is designed for football. Maybe half a dozen in the league right now that are this way. And it is an excellent football facility. You have to give them credit for that. I don't know about the hole in there either.
And the man who took over from Roger Staubach in 1980, Danny White. And he has a 27-2 record, winning record here in Texas Stadium. Looks over the Raiders defense. First down and 10, 25-yard line of the Cowboys. Dorsett deep as a single setback. Now goes Dorsett, Lyle Alzado once again.
Well, last week we saw Joe Washington have a lot of success running that little counter play sweep. Maybe they watched the game because they've tried it twice. They've tried running it to the left side over here. One thing I noticed about Dorsett, it seems when he's going to carry the ball, he lines up 7 yards back, even if he's the single back. Last 2 times he carried the ball, he lined up that deep. Let's keep an eye on that. Maybe we can get a tip, you know.
And Alzado's making good, quick moves in there on the line, and for that play to work, somebody's got to neutralize him.
2 times on first down, they've called that play. They've lost 2 yards on each occasion. No contact, no flags. Dorsett, strong for the smallness of his size in the game in which he plays, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and again, tempers flair.
There's an ISO on that counter play. Simple counter, even though they lined up in the split back and the fullback move there.
That's primarily done.
Dorsett running in the hole. A good body lean as always. A guy his height and his weight, you're surprised to see every time he gets tackled, he's going forward. He's leaning forward.
Go get him! 3rd down and 9. Butch Johnson. He's in the slot up near the top of your screen. Drew Pearson, top of your screen. A split to the left is Tony Hill. A lot of time for Danny White. Out of the backfield, and this is Donley. We did not anticipate seeing Donley. He pulled a groin muscle in practice this week. He shorted the first down, however. The former Ohio State All-American, and Dallas will be forced to punt. That means once again John Warren, and once again Greg Pruitt, a dangerous return man for the Raiders, will drop.
You know, the Raiders the last few days, I was at their practice last night, and all they were talking about was Marc Wilson's contract going up against a team that is undefeated. You would think they'd be intense talking about that team. Shows a little here.
Warren, he just did get it off.
Lester Hayes
came close. Here comes Pruitt.
And it's set up.
It's set up.
It's set up. Cut back. There you go.
Greg Pruitt, he's been doing it all year long, and he breaks a big one.
Yeah, he's been doing it for the last 10 years.
Down to the 26-yard line. In the early 70s, as a matter of fact, he returned for Cleveland. We'll watch it from the end zone. He still has those moves.
See Lester Hayes come in there, almost blocked it.
Had to affect the kick. It was not a particularly long kick, and it pulled it right over where that was set up. They had nobody there.
Here's the guy that knows what to do with the ball when he gets it. Start upfield. I would have cut back right there, fraction sooner. But
Intelligent runner.
Back.
And he has really added another dimension, having come to the Raiders a week ago. He gives the Raiders good field position, 26-yard line of the Cowboys. Kenny King playing with a sore knee, single setback. Wilson is back. Looking for deep in the end zone, the intended receiver, Cliff Branch.
I think Marcus Allen lined up outside, and he was trying to hit Marcus Allen with the pass. Marcus really had his man beat early. I think the ball came a little slow there, Don.
That's Dexter Klingsfield. He did do a good job of recovering, Klingsfield did, but he could have been open, as you said, early. Ball was a little bit late getting there.
7:52 remaining in the first quarter. There's Ted Hendricks. Never missed a football game, going all the way back to when he came up in 1969 with Baltimore. Playing in his 207th consecutive game tonight. Remarkable, Ted Hendricks. 2nd down and 10. Marcus Allen. It's back, and Ed Jones takes him in pursuit after a pickup of a couple. It'll leave Marc Wilson with a 3rd down and 8, and we'll see the changes.
That actually was a decent call on 2nd and long. You expect the Cowboys to be blitzing. They like the blitz. If you can pop a back out there, there's nobody between him and the goal line. Normally, there's one guy for him to beat if he's blocking at the line of scrimmage.
Tom Flores, now in his 5th year, took over. John Madden, 79. Year later, won the Super Bowl. 3rd down and 7.
Here comes everybody.
Wilson, full blitz is on. Wilson rolls out of it. And Wilson knocked out of bounds by Bill Bates, short of the first down. And we'll see the field goal unit. That means Chris.
That guy, everybody says he's slow. I've never seen somebody show up in so many different places on the field.
They got him as a free agent, Don. He just came down here and started hitting folks.
He did. Klingsfield had his angle was a little bit too sharp, and Marc Wilson was able to roll out on the outside. Says, I think I can pick up this first down. Those old long legs didn't quite make it. But Bates says, wait a minute.
Good play. Bill Bates, the rookie free agent out of Tennessee. It forces the Raiders to go with the field goal attempt at 37 yards. That's Chris Bahr. He's 6 of 10 this year. His longest has been 42 yards. Wilson is the holder. Chris Bahr sends it merrily on its way and splitting the uprights, and the Raiders are on the scoreboard. They trail Dallas 7-3 with 6:59 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be back at Texas Stadium in a moment. Number 25 and Ron Fellows, number 27. Chris Bahr to kick off for the Raiders. Raiders again 5-2 on the year. The Cowboys undefeated 7-0. Bahr spins one into the corner and is taken by Ron Fellows.
Oh, he looks like he's got some room.
And they closed it down quickly. First down and 10 Dallas, 18-yard line. A reminder, coming up this Saturday on ABC. It'll be an exciting little quarterback, Doug Flutie. North Carolina against Maryland. North Carolina is ranked number 3 in the nation. A tough ACC battle. And UCLA against Washington. Regional college football coming your way this Saturday. Danny White looks over at 1st and 10. And Dorsett on the pitch out. Lyle Alzado strings it out until he gets a lot of help from inside. And Dorsett is held to about a yard pickup.
I've got a feeling we're going to be able to hear a lot of Lyle Alzado tonight because Pat Donovan, who's ordinarily a Pro Bowl tackle, hasn't played. Played last week. But he's been out with knee injuries and he's got torn muscles in his thigh. And Lyle is the kind of guy that can take advantage of that sort of stuff.
I think we're going to hear more verbally from him. I think we're going to turn that mic down on the field in a while.
If that guy talks to you,
he's
you
quite
listen.
vocal out there.
You're right, Don. Actually, Donovan was out all last week, and he's playing with a very sore thigh muscle, working right across from Lyle Alzado. It's 2nd down and 8. Dorsett. And Dorsett hammers his way out to the 25-yard line, short of the first down by 3. It'll be 3rd down, and a situational down for the Cowboys at 3rd and 3. Big Matt Millen, number 55, the former lineman for Joe Paterno at Penn State, now a tough run defender at linebacker for the Raiders.
3rd down situation. Frank had just received word from the Cowboy bench that John Warren, the Cowboy punter, has a slightly twisted knee, and they may not come in to punt, so that would leave Danny White back there.
Probably should be anyway.
Yeah, a lot of folks think that.
Out of the shotgun. Hanging it up, and Danny White overthrew a touchdown shot. It was single coverage, and Lester Hayes played it too tight, and Drew Pearson was alone all behind, or rather Tony Hill alone all behind Lester Hayes. And we will now find out who the punter will be. John Warren steps into the huddle.
Well, Lester Hayes sort of gamble on that play. Most of your great interceptors are gamblers. We saw a few good ones today in that 49er game, and he was gambling there, and it just got beat. Tony Hill's one of the guys you can't catch once he beats you.
Greg Pruitt deep once again for the Raiders at his own 35-yard line. Warren, and once again, it doesn't turn over. Pruitt steps up to the 42, and then, like all good runners who run intelligently, Pruitt saw there was nothing outside, no picket line. He got the most he could out of it, and Pruitt puts the Raiders in Cowboy territory at the 46-yard line. We'll be right back. 5:06 remaining in the first quarter, and the Raiders, another fine return by Greg Pruitt, and the Cowboys have been hurt all season long by punt returns from the opposition. The Raiders have field position at the Cowboys' 45-yard line, 1st down and 10. Marcus Allen.
Look out, Marcus.
Marcus taken first.
Oh, too tall.
By Michael Downs, and Ed Jones was right there to make sure.
Too tall looked fired up that time. I mean, he didn't want to just tackle Marcus. He was trying to bury him in the AstroTurf.
They're awfully hard to run against, but they are, as you mentioned at the top of the show, they're way down statistically in the pass defense. But that can be deceiving, too, because they're not really getting killed that much. They just give up a lot of yardage. But that defense is awfully hard to run against.
2nd down and 10. Allen stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Kenny King in there now, number 33, playing with a sore knee and a brace. Along with Marcus Allen, with setbacks for the Raiders. Flooding backs to the right. Marcus Allen wants single coverage. He wants it on the back. Kenny King coming out of the backfield. Anthony Dickerson right with them, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10.
There was a delayed blitz that time by Bill Bates, number 40. And from a quarterback standpoint, a guy that makes that much noise out there, you're going to hear him coming no matter where he is. He didn't get to Wilson, but I'll bet you Wilson saw him coming.
Well, if you see a safety coming, if I was him, I'd have looked down the middle because Cliff Branch had a slight step on his man, and normally you would think if safety is coming down there, that area has to be open, and Cliff was a little open on that play. I think in the film, he'd wish he'd thrown to him.
You will agree we can see it a little more clearly up here.
From here, oh, yeah.
A lot of deep breathing down there. 3rd down and 10. Wilson has the time, finds the receivers. Barnwell, he has the first down inside the 30-yard line, close to the 27.
Good protection all around that time. Had him some time. He did a good job. Wilson did a good job stepping up in that pocket. But he had some time to throw.
Barnwell has been filling in for the injured Cliff Branch as a deep man. He has the good speed, too, Juice.
Yes, he does. He has a lot of speed. If anything has been suspect, it's been his hands, and he does a good job of catching it out in front there. And the ball wasn't thrown in front of him. He may have gotten a few more yards if he'd have let him a little bit.
Raiders on the prowl once again. 3:42 remaining in the first quarter. Dallas leading 7-3. First down at 10, and Marcus Allen, right side.
Whoa!
Moves right back inside Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker, and gets good yardage. Short of the first down by about a yard, but what a move he put on Bob Brunig.
Well, this is what Marcus does so well. We'll take a look at it from an end zone. He's trying to get around outside. Actually, there's not much there. What Marcus gets on this run, he gets on his own. Great move there.
The cutback against the grain. Get the big man with the weight.
Too tall is everywhere.
Heck of a block on Hegman that time. I'm not really sure who did that, but cut down Hegman. They gave him an opening.
Second down, a little more than a yard to go. Allen stays on his feet, struggles, looks for the first down, up close to it. And the man that Marc Wilson replaced, sitting on the bench, taking it all in, Jim Plunkett. Nothing new for him. He's had that great roller coaster ride and had his great moments. Rookie of the year back in '71. They'll bring out the yard markers and we'll take a look. Well, we have a little engineering job, a little repair here. Fun football game. The establishment in the form of the shiny white Cowboys with the stars on their helmet against the team that's known as the Rebels, the Raiders. Both of them with a lot of talent.
I think that's the main thing to consider, is that there are two teams that have a lot of talent. And since 1960, these two teams are the most winning team. Let's see.
In fact, they argue about it.
They argue.
Which
Depends
one
where
won
you
the
go
most.
back to. It's amazing that they've only played each other twice.
That is amazing. And won and split.
That's 1-1.
First down and 10. Marc Wilson. Puts wide receivers, top of your screen. Barnwell and Cliff Branch.
Oh, he's trying to. Oh, it couldn't do it. Trying to check off. Looks like he ran out of time. However,
Now
there's
we
still
have
8
seconds on the clock. I think there's something else.
False start, 79 offense.
Okay.
Bruce Davis, the left tackle, made a move after he was set. And that'll be 5 against the Raiders. Tom Flores, 16 years he's been associated with the Raiders, either as a player or an assistant coach. And now in his 5th season as head coach, and I mentioned, of course, having gone to the Super Bowl and won that Super Bowl in his 2nd year following the '80 season. Down remains the same, of course, first down 15. Wilson, Marcus Allen, good score. And Allen to the 5-yard line, literally hurtling over Dexter Clinkscale.
Yeah, but the move that made it work, he did a little hesitation on Bob Brunig, and Brunig was just out of it.
That's right.
He did a little,
Froze
what
him,
you
didn't
said, put a little hitch in his get-along on him.
But that's the guy that's got to cover him. You see him come all the way out of the backfield. Hegman's going back around, too tall, couldn't quite get that high.
Now watch him do a little dip there, that little step there right here, and then take off on him.
And he picked up a couple more by going over Dexter Clinkscale. First down, goal to go. The Raiders trailing 7-3, are threatening to take the lead. Inside 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Frank Hawkins. Single setback for the Raiders. Wilson changing off. There's a pick over in the corner, and Branch will be out of the end zone. A flag is down. There's a late hit, I believe, on Marc Wilson. Mike Hegman on the blitz. But there was also a little pick action in the end zone down there between Branch and Barnwell. Marc Wilson, he's 6'6", but he only weighs about 2'5", 210.
This 79 defense, a forearm to the head. First down.
Oh, I thought it was Hegman.
All right, Harvey Martin, they say, forearm somebody to the head. Harvey Martin should come in from the top of your screen. He'll be number 79. Here comes Harvey. Oh, there might have been a forearm to the chops. Penalty. First down, goal to go. Wilson looking for a receiver.
Got one.
And he finds one in the form of the third tight end, Derrick Jensen, and the Raiders have taken the lead.
Good composure by Wilson that time. He was trying to go left, no place to go.
He was trying to go to Don Hasselback, but Jeff Rohr almost tackled him. I was surprised I didn't see a flag on that. He tackled him. That was his primary receiver. Did a good job of ad-libbing.
Cowboys have worked themselves into the situation that they like this year. They have never... Well, they have won 7 in a row, and they've come from behind each and every one of those games to win, and they have another opportunity. They now trail the Raiders. Chris Bahr for the conversion. There's Derrick Jensen. His first catch of the season puts the Raiders out on top.
Well, let's look at Hasselback here. As I said, he's been guarded by number 50, Jeff Rohr. And that was sort of held him up there a little bit, getting out there.
Rohr, the second-year man from Yale, had pretty good position, though. The other man working with him was the back of the end zone. In the event, Jensen gets it in. The Raiders are on top, 1:35 remaining in the first quarter. Pruitt with a couple of assists on a 34-yard return. He set up the field goal for the Raiders. He set up the go-ahead touchdown with a 14-yard return into Dallas territory. Chris Bahr to kick off. Rod Hill, Ron Fellows are deep. Short kick. Fellows from the 5. The Bird. Look out, Bird. And Fellows buried at the 14-yard line. Good coverage. First man down there. Recently signed Don Bessalou. I'll tell you, this guy can maybe go into the Yankees bullpen.
He has a way of showing up at places, doesn't he?
Roger Owens is his name.
There is Derrick Jensen, as we mentioned, his first reception of the year. The Raider go-ahead touchdown. Dallas in the familiar position in the early moments of the game of being behind. Tony Dorsett, single setback. 2 tight end offense, Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. Dorsett is met. Beautiful effort by Matt Millen. We spoke of him a moment ago. He's tough against the run.
Don, are the Cowboys historically a left-running team? I don't recall them to be.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know.
They're running left all day today. You think they found something there?
What you got, Jake?
Just a reminder, at halftime, we are going to be having an expanded ABC News brief from our ABC News in New York, Peter Jennings, who once lived in Beirut in Lebanon. We'll talk about that tragic situation. And, of course, we'll also have a report on the New York Marathon. That'll be at halftime. Second down at 10. Tony Dorsett works his way for perhaps 4.
He's working hard for whatever yards he's picked up tonight.
Bob Nelson shot through there and almost tackled him behind the line of scrimmage.
He's dealing with the #1 defense in the NFL through 7 games. The Raiders coming into tonight 6th against the pass, second against the pass, and 6th against the rush. They also led the league after 7 games in sacking quarterbacks. They had 29.
You can imagine the problems they've been having offensively. They've lost 2 games in the last 3 weeks, and they scored 35 and 36 points in those games.
2 losses, 4 points. Third down, 6. Danny White from the shotgun. There will be no first down as White was taken out over the 22-yard line as the final seconds expire in the first quarter. Good, hard-hitting football game by 2 of the NFL's finest, the Raiders and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys now trail the Raiders 10-7. We'll be back with second quarter action in just a moment. 4th down, Dallas. 4th down and 2. Danny White is on. John Warren, we have been told, has a sore knee. Danny White, of course, kicked for the Cowboys for 6 or 7 years. They've always looked for someone to relieve him of that duty as we look at Greg Pruitt. They thought they had him in John Warren this year, and John Warren not kicking well and has a sore knee, so Danny White, his first punt of the year. Not a good one, end over end, and Greg Pruitt bobbles at midfield, and the ball is loose. Man who's down there was Ron Fellows for the Cowboys. The Cowboys get another Raider turnover. Greg Pruitt, I think, just took his eye off for just a moment. He's a sure-handed punt catcher.
Was that Fellows on the far sideline? If it was, they just turned him a flip. He wakes up, and there's the ball.
Yeah, Greg has been very aggressive this year running punts back. Of the leaders, he's about 10 ahead of anybody else in handling the football, and he's just a little too aggressive on that. Actually, he was there in time to catch it. He just misplayed it. Let's take a look at it from the reverse angle.
You see it coming over here. Ron Fellows is splattered on the sidelines. He'll get up now, and all of a sudden, look what I found.
That's old Rod Hill is who it was instead of, I thought it was Fellows too. Hills is down there. That Newhouse is going to be around the ball too.
Inside the 40 of the Raiders, the Cowboys on a turnover have the ball back once again. Danny White steps back in the pocket. Wide open is Drew Pearson. Inside the 15.
Was he ever throw a flag? Yeah, you got to throw a flag. Lester
Hayes a little late on Drew Pearson.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. That may have been Mike Davis.
Yeah, it was Mike.
Mike Davis?
Yeah, I would say he took him out a little far. You know, it's one thing knocking him out of bounds. It's another thing running with him out of bounds and hitting him.
Look how open. You see, Denny's got plenty of time to throw, but look how open Drew is. Stop right in the middle.
Should have let him go right here. A little extra right there. Well, just a little bit.
That's right, just a little bit.
All the way across, deep receivers taking men down on that side of the field. He's just wide open.
Looks like a simple route. It's something they've been running for years. He's been running that play for 10 years now and having success with it.
And the key to it is have an offensive line that can keep the pressure off your passer, because that pass takes a long time. First down, goal to go. The ball at the 7-yard line for Dallas. Cosby, Billy Joe Dupree, two tight end offense for Dallas. Dorsett spins, twists, outside, gets inside the 5. Much of that strictly on his own.
That's a beautiful move on his part. It's a pretty tough run when you got all your energy and everything going toward one side. To force yourself to stop that momentum and go the other way like that is pretty difficult.
Sometimes do you feel you wish you had it back, like you could have gone ahead and hit that hole? That's a hard decision, I guess. That's that instinct you're talking about.
Yeah, it's instinct and good vision. He was able to see that there was something back there and force his body over there.
Second down, goal to go. Tony Hill, top of your screen, one wide receiver. Drew Pearson is out to the right. Timmy Newsom, one setback along with the man in motion, Ron Springs.
Look like offsides.
Danny White gets out of it somehow and gets back close to the line of scrimmage, and the flag is indeed down.
Looked like the Raiders jumped a little quick to meet when they started back in motion. Cowboys do so many things. You were asking me a while ago, Jay, do they like to run left? What Dallas has done historically is not necessarily run left or run right. They look at their films. It is an offsides against Oakland. And they try to pick out a play they think they'll run. They can run that play well, then they'll change formations, where they run that same play off of one formation one week, the next week, same play, but a totally different formation. And look at the first quarter stats, pretty even. LA's given the one turnover, and as Frank alluded to, the punting was not particularly strong for Dallas.
You saw the indication by referee tonight, Gene Bahr. Offside Raiders. Down remains the same. Second down, goal to go. The ball now marked inside the 3-yard line.
They get mean and burly and tough down here. I'm talking about that Raider defense. Good challenge to that offensive line. Oh, inside. Met the challenge.
And Ron Springs takes it in from 2.5 out. And Dallas now comes back out on top. And again, the Dallas touchdown provided by a turnover.
From the high end zone, it's what we call a 40 trap.
Herb Scott was that lead blocker in there and left it up to Ron, didn't he?
You saw the trap block. Herb Scott, he's been doing it for years, has taken him to the Pro Bowl for so many times. Raiders, of course, trying to penetrate, and it's an easy block to execute down near the goal line, providing the people are where they're supposed to be. And they were. Septien for the conversion. And Dallas leads 14-10. And I think Tom wanted to make sure they didn't get one easy by throwing the ball. He wanted to run this ball in, and he got great blocking. Let's watch Dupree.
And then Joe Dupree coming across the middle, and he made face-to-face with big Matt Millen. All you got to do, that's a heck of a block, Billy Joe.
We got a cameraman right inside the line of scrimmage. Good shot. You saw it all. We'll be back in a moment. Do it so frequently, make the most of the turnover. They have the lead now, 14-10. Septien to kick off. Greg Pruitt is deep along with Cleve Montgomery. Cleve Montgomery, he'll bring it out. Whoa. And he might have been better advised to leave it in as he is hammered at the 17-yard line. First down and 10, the Raiders. Well, I know who that
I think
man
it's the
is.
Bayonne bleeder, isn't it?
Oh, poor
Is that Chuck
baby.
Webner?
Oh.
1967. Number 1 in your heart. Courtesy of Sam Blair. He broke his nose 14 times. Would you believe they won that game?
Certainly we'd have won that game. You can tell. You should see the other guy. That's very nice. Thank you very much. That came out of a book that Bob Lilly has done called Reflections with Bob Lilly. It's a terrific kind of a photographic journey through Bob Lilly's career, which was terrific.
And you saw Don Meredith's name. There's only 5 of them up there on the Ring of Honor. First down at 10. Wilson is back. Once Cliff Branch, he's covered. He dumps it off out in the flat. It goes to Allen. And Allen works and bobbles the ball. There's a scramble.
Can't believe that.
And the Raiders are picking up where they left off last week against Seattle, and Dallas has it back.
Evidently, it wasn't Jim Plunkett's fault.
Evidently, he threw a few interceptions, but they've been coughing the ball up for the last 3 weeks an incredible amount of times. I think Marcus's problem historically is he gets the ball. Oakland is not your classic running football team. He's come from college where he gained 2,300 yards his senior year, and he tries to do a little too much every time he gets the football.
And Anthony Dickerson hit Marcus Allen, and the ball was between Dickerson and Allen. It came out, and the Cowboys had the ball at the 20-yard line.
The pursuit that time. Now, there were like 5, 6 Dallas Cowboys over there at that action. That's really good defensive pursuit. You're going to pick up fumbles and make things happen.
Dallas has scored on each occasion, 2 tonight, but they've got the turnover. Picked off. It could have been, should have been by Bob Nelson.
And he will be thinking about, oh, poor Bob. That was a great route he ran, too. I mean,
Yeah, it would have been fun watching Bob if he caught it. He had an open field a few weeks ago. I told you it had a little slow foot speed in the middle with Bob and Matt Millen. Well, they cornered me the other day and said, we heard you said we didn't have any foot speed. Let's see you get out of this.
Oh, man.
Those are the last 3 games. We have already talked about it this evening. They have been snake bit with the turnover, fumble, interceptions. They've also given up 13 sacks, I think, something like that in the last 3 games. A troubled team, the Raiders, after they won 4 straight. Second down and 10. White fires it out complete to Drew Pearson. Not much doing, however, as Lester Hayes, one of the best that ever played the corner, is right on top of Pearson, a gain of about 3.
Lester's kind of a hometown boy, Texas A&M guy. He was kind of happy to be back in his area. Good football player.
Guys like Lester Hayes, the great cornerbacks who love to gamble, they're pretty tough to beat up in front of them. You know, you can get that short hitch pass like that, but normally they're pretty tough on those short passes. You're going to beat them, you hitch and go. A lot of times you'll beat them deep because they do gamble.
White, 4 of 8, 50 yards. He's looking over a 3rd down and 6 from the shotgun. 4 wide receivers.
There, he got him.
White, Tony Hill. He'll have the first down.
And he threw everything you can throw at a guy at that.
Tony Hill's speed, Frank alluded to it earlier. They've got to respect Tony Hill. He hasn't been playing. He does such a good little quick turnaround in here. Lester had to respect him deep. Turned around. Danny threw it right on timing. First down.
And notice how he knew exactly the yardage that he had to pick up before he set up. He got the first down inside the 10. First down, goal to go.
He did a great job on that. He beat Lester inside. Lester was trying to keep him outside, and the minute he beat him inside, Lester was in a sort of a panic there, and a little surprised. I think he surprised Lester that he stopped.
Just great quickness on Tony Hill's part.
Danny White readjusts Tony Hill, who's been out of the lineup for 4 weeks. He'll have to get it off quickly. He does. Ron Springs to the 5-yard line. It'll be second down, goal to go, and we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our friends to identify themselves.
KTNV TV, Las Vegas.
Hope you're enjoying the game. It's a game in which Dallas scored first on, of all things, Danny White. Handoff to Ron Springs. Springs fired it back. A 15-yard touchdown pass to Danny White, who has punted the ball, ran the ball, thrown the ball, and kicked the ball tonight.
He has not kicked off. Has not kicked extra points yet.
That's next.
He's got some things to do.
Raiders came right back. with a field goal, a touchdown. They took the lead, and then following another Raider turnover, Dallas was able to get in for another touchdown. Ron Springs from 2.5 yards out, and Dallas leads the Raiders 14-10. Timeout called by Dallas.
Well, I don't know. You never can tell whether they make it back or not.
They are the best. They are really good girls. Any question. They are professional. They work at it. They recruit them from thousands who try out to become a Dallas cheerleader.
It's now become a little bit more lucrative for those young ladies because they do a lot of off-season.
Well, they should.
Promotional work, yeah.
Second down, goal to go as we rejoin the action. Dorsett, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. He might have got a yard out of it.
Pretty well covered up. They're trying to go back over on that left side again. You see Davis. They bring in a different group of players on that goal line situation. Third and long, you would expect some kind of a little pass. They're not going to be able to run it in from here, I wouldn't think.
We get the pass receiving core for Dallas. We get the changes quickly by the Raiders as they answer personnel with personnel. Third down, goal to go. The ball just outside the Raiders' 5-yard line.
Those corners are right up there on them, aren't they?
Danny White, he had to do it quickly because he was under tremendous pressure. The man that was pressuring was Howie Long, who leads the Raiders in sacks. He is a terrific pass rusher, a third-year man from Villanova, and he got right in Danny White's face.
Had to be a mix-up in the blocking because there's no way he could get back there that quick on anybody. I don't know whether Donovan's hurt. We mentioned it earlier, but he was just zipping right back through there. Split the gaps.
He looked like he disassembled and reassembled.
He did. He came back too quickly.
Septien looking to settle for 3 points from 23 yards out. That's a very tough defense the Raiders put up, and that may tell later on.
Got to give them a little lift. Holding them to 3.
And Dallas capitalizes once again on a turnover. They've done it 3 times tonight. They lead the Raiders 17-10. 65,000 plus, and it's an emotionally involved crowd tonight. Raiders, of course, considered around the National Football League as the Rebels, and they have turned out in mass. Septien to kick off. Pruitt, Clee Montgomery are deep. This will be Clee Montgomery. Septien directs it away from Pruitt.
Got an opening.
Clee Montgomery, and Septien makes the stop. Septien makes the tackle out over the 40-yard line, and Clee Montgomery saw that little gap, kicked in the afterburner, and the Raiders have good field position.
Well, the Raiders need some big plays right now. I think overall, well, let's take a look at that from the end zone. They need a big play. They got good field position. Other than the turnovers, I think Marc Wilson just has to settle down a little bit. I think he's coming off his wide receivers just a little too quick. I think he's leaving them, and the Cowboy defensive backs are giving him a little cushion. If he stays with his wide receivers a little longer, if he has the time, I think they'll have some success throwing wide.
First down, Raiders, their own 46-yard line. They trail 17-10. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Frank Hawkins sprints out over midfield. He's close to a first down at the Cowboys' 44-yard line, taken by Bob Brunig. And Septien perhaps having his best year, which really carries over to last year. He made the saving tackle. Watch Brunig.
Made off a block. Michael Downs comes up, number 26, hits him, bounces off. Brunig comes over.
Yeah, but you don't like those inside backers making tackles 10 yards downfield.
Oh, that's right. He's going to make it. He's supposed to close it off a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
Hawkins close enough for the first down. We'll get the measurement. Hawkins has been performing well in relief both of Kenny King and Marcus Allen this year. Third-year man out of University of Nevada at Reno. You see how much we will be short. You saw that with our reverse angle camera. The old Giants with another brick or two. Who knows? They take on St. Louis tomorrow night. Troubled teams, both of these teams. St. Louis, however, with Neil Lomax back at quarterback, playing well. And, of course, the Giants will go with a new quarterback tomorrow night. Jeff Rutledge has replaced Scott Bruner. And, of course, what can you say? The Redskins without Riggins today. They're dynamite.
They are good. We got the San Diego Chargers out there. Next couple of good ball games coming up.
Tomorrow night, Giants of St. Louis. A week from tomorrow night, Washington and San Diego. Second down and inches for the Raiders. A waste down.
Boy, it's going to be wasted.
That's a fair catch. That one thrown up to Cliff Branch. Not a well-advised pass at all. He was double covered. Back there was Clinkscale along with Dennis Thurman, and that one could have been picked off quite easily.
You know, it really could have. You almost look at a play like this, and Thurman, either one of them could have gotten
It
that.
was anybody's ball.
But they did a smart thing and knocked that thing
That's
away.
a good disciplined role on the part of both of them. They
sure
did
is.
not want
Branch
to risk
to catch
going
it.
for the interception, have a deflection, and have it turn into an easy touchdown.
Knocked that ball away.
Well, you got a good look at the Raider philosophy on offense. They're not a team to try to establish a running game or a passing game. They're a big play team, so adversity really doesn't bother them. They don't need consistency, but they are consistent about getting in the end zone, and Harvey Martin looked like he lined up off sides, and I don't think it's going to make a difference.
He's run down quickly by Michael Downs. The flag is down.
But I think Harvey Martin just lined up off sides. They line up in that short yardage defense with their both hands down and their heads low.
79 defense encroachment.
We got it.
Refused.
And his head was just over the line of scrimmage.
And as it so often happens on short yardage defense, when you pop it, you're going to get a lot of yardage out of it because everyone is up on that line of scrimmage.
There just was nobody there. Man, good block. Good blocking all up and down that line. Good block by Derrick Jensen, the tight end. Kind of forced that, seal it off to the inside.
Here it is. You see his head is at the bottom of your screen, 79. You see his head is in that area that it's not supposed to be in.
One step over the line, old Harvey. One step over the line.
First down at the 13-yard line. The Raiders trailing 17-10. Threatening. Frank Hawkins. Single setback for the Raiders. Looking for Cliff Branch in the corner of the end zone, out of bounds.
He made that catch, though, did he? What a nice catch.
Everson Walls had him covered well, however, and Marc Wilson had to throw it out of bounds.
That was actually true. They just had him covered, and Mark couldn't get rid of it. An amazing average per catch that he has.
And another flag down.
This is just an outstanding catch. Too bad it wasn't for a touchdown because he made the effort, kept his concentration.
And this assessment being marked off against the Raiders.
Illegal use of the hands, number 65 offense. Hands to the head, illegal.
Well, the Raiders now are backed up 10. Down remains the same. That's going to put a little bit of a...
Actually, it may be better for him. They have more room to pass in.
Dimmer on a great run by Frank Hawkins, his longest of his career. First and 20. Hawkins again. Another big opening. This time he'll get it in.
Yes, yes.
Frank Hawkins, left side, and now we understand why Harvey Martin perhaps is lining up as tight as he is, Deuce. Bruce Davis on that left side and Charlie Hanna are doing a number on them.
Well, they pinning him inside, and Marcus Allen's hitting the first man that shows on the outside, and Hawkins doesn't have much decision to make here. They pin him inside. Marcus Allen goes out and make the block.
Double team. Bruce Davis and Charlie Hanna rode Randy White, the all-pro tackle, out of it for Dallas. Hawkins broke behind it. Touchdown. That's what the Raiders do so well. They're so big, they're strong. Davis is 280, Hanna's 260. Marvin on one side is 265, Lawrence 270. They're big, and they love to push you around.
And Marcus Allen is possibly the best blocking halfback in football. But he played fullback a few years ago in college.
Chris Bahr for the conversion. And Chris Bahr ties it up at 17.
Lighted the crowd a little bit, didn't it?
Let's take a look at that left side of the line. Randy White will be isolated, and watch the block by Bruce Davis and Charlie Hanna. And he was slanting in their direction, and they took him on.
They've also got Harvey Martin is all tied up in the middle, so it's as much on Harvey. Oh, Randy couldn't get to the outside, so combination. They had Harvey pinned in there, and Randy couldn't get back.
So the Raiders, with a good defensive effort a few moments ago, have turned it around. They now tied at 17. Jay Simpson, Don Meredith watching the Raiders and the Cowboys. They're tied at 17. Chris Bahr hammers one high. Rod Hill takes it at the 3. And Rod Todd Hill works his way out to the 23-yard line. First down, Cowboys. A reminder, college football coming your way on. Ron Springs, single setback for Dallas. Danny White dumps it off to Springs. Springs avoids a tackle, works his way to the 30-yard line for a gain of 7.
Oh, yes, is that pretty.
That's after watching that Washington game today and the Baltimore game. They were playing in a downpour. We have had beautiful weather here in Dallas.
Now, Ron Springs, to me, he's visually sort of imposing. He sort of throws you off. He looks like he weighs 190 pounds or something, and he weighs 218, 220 pounds. I think he surprises a lot of defensive backs with that size and strength of his.
He got 7. Second down and 3 for Dallas. Springs once again up close to the first down. I think he has it. 8:42. The clock is ticking away here in the first half. Ron Springs has developed into a full football player, too. He didn't like it when they moved him to around in the first year that he was here.
And Timmy Newsom had the same problem. They put Timmy up there behind Dorsett. He said, wait a minute, I'm not going to play behind that guy. And he's now getting where he said, well, that's okay. It's not so bad.
And they both become big contributors. First down, Dallas. Ball at their own 34-yard line.
Open middle.
White
Over.
high pass was taken by Drew Pearson. He'll have a first down in Raider territory. As Danny White waited, and threw it a little high, but he was under tremendous pressure, and he took quite a shot after he delivered it to Pearson.
It was a slow developing pass pattern, but he did have 2 receivers open, both of them down the middle. Had Pearson coming a little bit further to the outside. You see Lester Hayes is man-to-man in there, but you'll see Drew come a little bit to the inside. The old turn in. This ball, he did have to go up and get that. Great concentration. You'll see Tony Hill, number 80, he was also open over in the middle. Let's see what kind of pressure Danny got. That's Huey Long coming in there. That's
Big
Matt
Howie
Miller.
Long.
Howie Long, excuse me. Huey was the governor, wasn't he? Forgot about that.
46-yard line of the Raiders. Tony Dorsett skipping, looking. That's tough against the Raiders because they are a swarming, pursuing defense, and Dorsett gets zilch. It'll be second down and 10. Archie Reese, the nose tackle, there defensively first for the Raiders.
Big Archie, he's a good guy. Played with him 1 year with the 49ers. I thought for a while last year, the 49ers, one of their major problems was they missed his leadership on defense. He's come to the Raiders and done a good job for them.
Doug Donley, the speedster from Ohio State, who we did not think we'd see tonight, is in the lineup. A wide receiver, bottom of your screen for Dallas. Drew Pearson at the top, second down and 11. And White drops.
He's got him.
Wide open is Donley.
Oh, yes.
And he holds on at the 20-yard line. A great catch because he knew he was going to be hammered.
Good timing pattern, too. That was a really well-thrown ball.
Take the ground look level here. Lester Hayes, one of the best in the business. They're picking on him a little tonight.
He's getting help from the inside from McElroy, but McElroy didn't get there quickly enough.
What good concentration and a good catch there.
I think in the films that'll break down as McElroy not covering quickly enough for Lester Hayes, who was playing Donley outside and playing him a little short.
Well, they call that sort of a tough zone. It's actually a sort of a zone, but you play your man tough if no one comes into your area.
First down, 20-yard line. The Cowboys tied at 17 with the Raiders. Inside 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Cosby works for about 4 yards. It'll be second down and 6. Once again, remind you, halftime, we're going to have an expanded ABC News brief. Peter Jennings, who has spent so much of his life in the Middle East, lived in Beirut, Lebanon, where that tragic happening took place today, will be filing that report from New York. We'll also have a report on the running of the New York Marathon. So be with us at halftime.
That was Cosby's first reception tonight. And he's been kind of the mainstay, the main cog down here, keeping the double coverage. If they double couple to the outside, they're going to throw to Cosby down the middle.
Had a big game, did Cosby, last week against Philadelphia. 6 receptions as Dallas walked all over the Eagles. Danny White was not sacked one time in 37 attempts a week ago.
What?
Tried to go to Cosby. Incomplete.
Howie Long and How's Derrick for getting into it. Now, it's fun to watch those big guys in the line because they are all big and they play this game very well.
I hope they never do it, but someday if you could invent a little camera with the sound apparatus, put it on one of those dudes, you would hear the wildest discussion of ancestry and the loudest hit you've ever heard.
Well, it couldn't go over network TV. It'd have to be cable.
Oh, well,
And
it's
even
life and it happens.
selective cable.
Yeah.
And the ground just shakes. 3rd down and 5. Shotgun. A lot of movement, no flags. Danny White looking to the end zone.
All right.
And
What a
Butch
good throw
Johnson
again.
does it for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm very impressed with that type of play. That thing, you don't have long to think about it. Total reaction. Butch Johnson's done a lot of nice things for him down here, the big play guy. Look at all these black jerseys getting real close. Zip, get rid of that ball.
Oh, so many years he's been doing this, coming off the bench, really. And
He wants to.
he started to give it the earthquake shuffle, as he calls it. Tom Landry's told him not to do it, but that's his first touchdown of the season. And he is an excitable, very emotional player. And a good one.
Want to know he hadn't forgot about his California quake.
Septien for the conversion. Through the uprights, and Dallas has recaptured the lead once again.
I see it, Butch. I'm on, Butch.
Look at that.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, he's had some big catches already this year. He set up the overtime winning field goal against Tampa Bay. He just seems to get open. Back at Texas Stadium. Touchdown pass. Danny White, 15 yards. Butch Johnson. Cowboys set to kick off at 5:27 remaining in the half. Greg Pruitt. And Pruitt out over the 20 to the 23. The first man there was Mike Walter. Take a look at Tom Landry. He, of course, has called this play to Butch Johnson.
Easy, Tom.
Violent display of emotion.
That was Tom's interpretation of Butch Johnson's California quake.
Yeah, the California trimmer.
That's it. You think we got another one of these first to 50s going to win tonight?
I don't know. Maybe we got another pinball machine going.
First team to 50.
I know I'm not going to add up the score. Did I take some heat from that from my buddy?
We only missed it by 10.
Yeah.
First down and 10, the Raiders. The ball at their own 23-yard line. Deflection. And Clinkscale cannot hold on in a diving effort. Marc Wilson, he has had a busy week. O.J. talked about it earlier, the new contract, the things that are developing so rapidly now between NFL players and USFL owners, I guess is the only way to put it, because the NFL players are aware that it's out there, and he is a direct result of whether he was approached or not approached by apparently USFL teams. Al Davis decided he wants him around. His other quarterback is up there in years, so he kept Marc Wilson with a big contract just a couple of nights ago. Has to be distracting. Second down and 10. Todd Christensen out over the 35 to the 37, first down Raiders.
Todd certainly has fit into that Oakland Raider offensive formation. So let's see. Bob Brudick trying to cover this tight end. You just missed him there, and he couldn't even hold him. Todd Christensen, as most of you probably know, was a Dallas Cowboy, drafted number 2 here as a running back. They wanted to move him to tight end. He didn't want to go.
At his best day of his career last week in losing efforts against Seattle, he caught 11 passes.
Or 3 touchdowns.
Marc Wilson fires to Barnwell. Barnwell steps out of bounds at the 44-yard line, stopping the clock with 4:28 remaining in the half.
You get a feeling just sitting here that anything can happen tonight. You know something's going to happen. They're going to move that ball up and down the field. Fun teams to watch play. Maybe that's why they're the winningest teams in football.
It's an electric feeling you get when you watch great players perform. Even though they battle and butt heads out there throughout the course of the game, you know that the Branches, the Tony Hills, the Dorsets, the Marcus Allens. They can break it open at any moment. Second down and short for the Raiders. Wide open is Branch in front of Dennis Thurman, who once again was respecting what used to be 9-2 speed on the part of Cliff Branch. Watch Dennis Thurman. Said, hey, buddy, you're not going to get behind me.
Well, Marc Wilson, for the first time, really stayed with his outside receiver, and they're giving him so much cushion out there that I think he can have a lot of success today if he just settles down and try to hit those wide receivers on those deep turn-ins and turnouts.
44-yard line of Dallas. The Raiders coming right back. Hawkins in motion. This is Marcus Allen. And big John Dutton, 6'7", 275, takes Allen in pursuit.
Made good move down that line of scrimmage, did he? That's good lateral pursuit.
Take a look at how it has gone on this Sunday afternoon. Atlanta over the Jets. Atlanta coming way back. New England over Buffalo, and then Cincinnati over Cleveland. Some more scores. Washington rolling along. Minnesota in overtime. Chicago beats Philadelphia. There's another overtime win. Kansas City, Miami over Baltimore, and Pittsburgh took Seattle in the thriller. Gain of about a yard for Allen. His second down and 9.
Oh, yeah.
Barnwell offside.
That was a good example of an inexperienced quarterback. You saw Dallas change their defense. They went up, faked that blitzing sort of defense, came back into double coverage. Marc Wilson saw it, says, I've got an audible for this. And Barnwell says, wait a minute, make up your mind, guy. I was supposed to go on 2.
Smart enough to try to get back.
That's right.
But he made contact, so I don't think he could have come back.
He said, I thought the snap count was 2. I know I've been out here for about 10 seconds.
I just hope he was the intended receiver. That's more scores for you. How about that one?
That was a good ball game. I saw most of that with the Niners and the Rams.
I got a new all-universe for you, though.
You do?
Anthony Dickerson.
Oh, he is terrific. SMU.
Almost as good as they can get. SMU.
Well, I tell you, SMU and Texas had a heck of a ball game here yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to erase me from the books, I'm afraid.
It's about time. You're getting old.
Second down, 15, following the penalty. Trouble for Wilson. Dumped it off, no flags, but he was just anxious to get rid of it. I was talking about Eric Dickerson, of course. We're watching Anthony Dickerson, who is also SMU, performing tonight. Eric Dickerson did things that no human being should be able to do today.
Like that guy right there. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, when you get that much talent, that much size, that much speed, a coach like John Robinson, who knows how to run the football, you saw what he did for Marcus Allen his senior year, 2,300 yards. It's hard to stop it. It all adds up to records and wins.
Wilson is 8 of 15, 90 yards. He has 1 touchdown. He looks over third down and long. 3:30 remaining in the half. Wilson has the time. He finds Christensen. Christensen spots the first down marker and steps right over it.
Well, that was a wonderful throw by Marc. Maybe the best one I've seen him throw tonight. He had that one right on the old clothesline. Didn't have a lot of room to throw and had some pressure back there.
Well, the Raiders don't have what you call your classic possession receiver. The closest person to it is Marc Christensen. Is generally unusual to use that. Todd Christensen is generally unusual to use your tight end as your possession receiver. Normally you have one guy outside.
Dexter Klingscale was pretty good defensive coverage there, but still ball was complete.
First down at the 33-yard line. Calvin Muhammad in, wide receiver now for the Raiders, number 82. As Wilson sends Marcus Allen left side for a pickup of a couple, and Marcus Allen obviously felt that he should have had more.
Michael Downs does such a good job. One of the team leaders in tackles. He's everywhere. One of those free agents that they kind of brought in. Kid out of Rice, hometown boys. We've told you many times, but he does do a terrific job. That time at the line of scrimmage and made that tackle.
I tell you, if I was Marcus Allen, I'd go to the sidelines and tell the coach, don't run on first down. Don't run. Give me the ball on second or third down, because the Cowboys normally play a run defense on first down, and they haven't had much success running on first down.
Second down and 8. Wilson is back.
He's got Wilson. He's got Christensen.
Christensen semi-open in the end zone. Marc Wilson not quite enough touch. Incomplete. It'll be third down now and 8.
Cliff Branch, we're told, is being administered to there on the sideline. What'd that be? Muscle
He's
cramp?
had pulled hamstring down. It goes back 3 weeks to the Washington game, and he pulled it on that 99-yard touchdown pass.
I saw that.
And still ran it all the way. He's having a little problem tonight, though. He's trying to make a return to the lineup, and I don't think that leg is quite right.
3rd and 8, 10th play of the Raiders' drive.
Got to have your wheels, haven't you?
There's got to be one.
Dallas thinking pass. They have the 5th defensive back in there. Movement by Dallas. Flags are down. Wilson will also be down by Anthony Dickerson.
Well, Calvin Mohammed did a little jig in there for a minute. He may have pulled him offside. We'll have to wait and see.
So many of the Cowboys went off that could have been exactly what it was. Smerrick was the first one to move, but they almost moved in unison, and when that happens, it usually indicates that they've been drawn off.
Maybe they didn't see it. He was outside there.
But I see him setting up their huddle up there fairly close, the Raiders, so maybe they know something too. Bates was the guy that came in and made the hit on him. Bates, I like Bates. He is really fun to watch.
Yeah. There was a false start. I believe Mickey Marvin. I'm going to spin Gene Barth around here and get him aimed in the right direction for you. And he'll mark it off against the Raiders.
False start, number 60 offense. There was no option on the play. No option on the play. It was a false start. Third down.
That's all right, Gene. That's where all the rich folks have their boxes.
Not all of them. Have you seen some of them on this side, too?
Louis XIV furniture. Chandeliers hanging down. By the stadium. 3rd down, long 12. Wilson is a wide open field, and he'll get the first down.
Oh, good move, Mark.
Marc Wilson under tremendous pressure. Smerrick was in there. Harvey Martin was in there. He pulled it down. Broke it inside the 20 to get the first down for the Raiders.
Well, that's one of the reasons the linemen for the Raiders wanted Marc Wilson to start earlier in the season. They felt he was much more mobile than Plunkett, and he would save them sacks. This is one time he did. Plunkett may have been sacked on that play.
That could have really come back, as they say, and we'll think about that one as the game goes along. Well, that was a 3rd down and long situation. Could have even been out of field goal range.
So the Raiders keep it alive with 2:25 remaining in the half, and the score tied at 17. The ball marked inside the 17-yard line of Dallas. Or Cowboys leading 24-17, rather. Wilson, Frank Hawkins stepped right back in front of Anthony Dickerson. Touchdown, Raiders.
And I don't think that pass was planned to be short like that. It was a poor pass, and Hawkins made a great adjustment to the ball.
You can see Dickerson look back just at the wrong time. He says, oh, no, I should have checked it.
6-6, Marc Wilson. Dickerson playing it man for man, and Hawkins read it beautifully, came back to it, and the Raiders are within one, a conversion of tying it up once again.
That ball had been thrown properly. You're right. I don't think
he wouldn't have caught it.
Wouldn't have caught that.
Well, here's Chris Bahr.
First to 50.
Well, there is still time on the 30-second clock, so we'll see what the penalty is. Offsides, Dallas. They must have made contact.
Looked like Tutall was a little antsy in the middle.
The nose guard on defense through the charge will penalize on the kickoff.
That's interesting. So, Chris Bahr with quarterback Marc Wilson handling the holding chores for the Raiders. Gets it down, Bahr gets it up. We're tied up again at 24.
Well, let me take a shot at this one, Frank. 48 points in the first half.
That's good.
True.
Good with all right.
2:19 remaining in the first half. Frank Hawkins, I mentioned it a moment ago. He came up as a 10th round pick in '81 with just shattered all kinds of NCAA records at the University of Nevada at Reno. But he was short at 5'9", 210, not thought to be too fast, but he has done so much for the Raiders, filling in for Allen, for Kenny King, who's been hurt the past couple of weeks. Fine football player. That was a heads-up move he made against Anthony Dickerson to come back and get the Raiders score. Tom Flores, the old quarterback of the Raiders. Watching his 5-2 Raiders go against the 7-0 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, of course, the only undefeated team in the NFL. And young Marc Wilson at the helm.
There's Marc Wilson. I had a conversation with him today about the dispute if he really had an offer from the USFL, and he assured me it was there. I talked to his agent, Howard Slusher. He also assured me that the contract was there for him to sign.
Gary Allen is deep for the Cowboys, but this will be Ron Fellows. Look out, Bird. Fellows has found an opening. And Fellows finds a little gap on the right side. He explodes up close to midfield.
One of 3 players from the University of Missouri. They call him Bird. They say he's just a little too slight.
Used to be a wide receiver, and he has the speed for a wide receiver.
Did a good job of starting towards the middle to get the pursuit to get into the middle, and then he broke back outside, find a little crevice, and he was just about to break it.
Cowboys first down and 10, close to midfield. The Cowboys with 2 timeouts. They'll get a clock stopped at the 2-minute warning. We have 2:07 remaining in the half. Cowboys from the shotgun. They want more points. Screen. Flag is down. And Dorsett taken out of bounds. Chased out of bounds by Rod Martin.
It was Archie Reese that played that play perfectly. Number 74. He came towards the middle. He saw his linemen weren't trying to block him too aggressively, and he sort of stayed in the flow over there, and he read the screen perfectly.
Motion against Dallas. And there was a loss of about 3 yards, so I would presume the Raiders will decline the penalty. And we are also going to collect the 2-minute warning. Both benches being notified as if they did not look up and check out the clock. We'll be back with more action after this message from the National Football League. Stay with us. We've got a beauty. To you as a public service by Drew Pearson of the Cowboys and by the National Football League. 1:59 remaining in the game. And would you believe this? We had a game last Monday, 48-47, Green Bay. And we have had more points scored here in the first half of this game than we did last week. So settle down, enjoy yourself, put your feet up. Got a couple of explosive ball clubs. Second down and 13. The Raiders decline the penalty. The Cowboys have the ball at their own 47-yard line. They have 2 timeouts. Danny White, wide open, is the tight end.
But I think Howie Long got a holding penalty. Howie's the best defensive lineman the Raiders have. He's had 15 holding penalties called, guys holding him this year, and he leads the team in sacks with 7. Matter of fact, he keeps that stat on the holding penalties against him.
So a first down is going to be negated. And keep in mind that Howie Long is working against Phil Paz-Derrick with Jim Cooper out of the lineup. Paz-Derrick has a tendency to hold a little bit.
And actually, they move Howie a line.
Holding, still second down.
Holding on Paz-Derrick.
They move Howie around a little bit. They move him inside when they really want a good pass rush, and he normally lines up outside in their 3-4 defense.
He supports a...
Right in the middle of your screen. You see Big Howie?
Howie supports a boys club type facility back in his neighborhood in the Boston area. And every time he gets a sack, he gives him $100. He's going to guarantee $1,000.
He could be broke the way this is going.
Second down and 22. I think that Tom Landry will be just a little careful at this point. Butch Johnson comes down with the football short of the first down, but an acrobatic catch at the 44-yard line of the Raiders. And there is no being careful in this game because apparently Tom Landry feels like we do. This is going to be a high score.
You know, we've really seen Butch Johnson make some of the most unbelievable catches in the years of Monday Night Football. The ball, of course, has to be thrown pretty well to get there, but look at this catch. Well, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. That was a heck of a throw.
Hey, when you get that wide open.
That's still a good catch. Good throw.
Butch Johnson working against James Davis. It'll be 3rd down and 4. The ball at the Raiders' 44-yard line. Fired quickly, and this time Tony Hill has the first down, still on his feet.
Oh, Tony Hill.
And that's one of the reasons, and Drew Pearson is the other, that Butch Johnson has never become a starter here.
That T. Hill, they call him Thrill for a reason, don't they? Thrill Hill.
Well, they're over here working on Lester Hayes again. The Raiders are placing a lot of pressure on their cornerbacks to try to cover these receivers one-on-one. I think they're going to have to change their pass coverage later. Great move. Look at that. It was a very nice move.
Great ones make it look so easy.
Otis McKinney was the guy that finally tackled it. But a first down. Now, that was a big first down for him.
At the Raiders' 32-yard line, the clock is still moving, approaching 1 minute remaining in the half. Cowboys with 2 timeouts. They're awfully good at using them. That one intended for Drew Pearson, incomplete.
Of course, we don't ever know. I think it was intended for Donley, who was coming across the line, and he got kind of tied in here. But let's see Pearson on this side, see what happens.
Yeah, it looked like Donley was coming across, even though we're looking at Pearson here, and he got tied up with Rod Martin, and there he is. He had already got bumped off his
Ted Watts. We were probably wrong. Ted Watts was the guy that the Cowboys fans are saying he interfered.
But I think the pass, you were right, the pass was for Donley.
No flag, 2nd down and 10. 57 seconds remaining. Clock, of course, stopped with the incompletion. Tony Hill, top of your screen, as the Cowboys employ 4 wide receivers. Danny White, Donley had to turn around, and that took a little edge off the great speed the youngster has. So now it will be 3rd down and 10, and on the sidelines, this man is having such a great year warming up. Rafael Septien. He's been remarkable. He's only missed 2 this year, but the most incredible thing is he has a string of 22 consecutive field goals from inside the 47.
This may be right about 47, 48 yards.
The ball resting at the 32-yard line. The score tied at 24-24. Seesaw battle. 52 seconds remaining in the half. Cowboys still with their 2 timeouts.
4 seconds are on the clock. 2-1.
They'll have to snap it, and the Cowboys get it off. Into a crowd, picked off.
Should be.
The deflection taken by Otis McKinney. And little rhubarb broke out again.
He wasn't too gentle on that tackle, was it?
No, he wasn't. Got some pressure back there. Denny may have thrown a ball that he wishes he had back. Otis McKinney seems to be shaken up a little bit.
He really buried him. The tight end who tackled him really buried him into the surface there.
Take a look at it again. Danny White, I think you agree, Don. He probably should not have thrown this. He was under tremendous pressure, tried to squeeze it in.
There's too many dark jerseys around there. Yes.
Watch this tackle.
Yeah, the guy that intercepted was the guy that came in late.
Oh, right on the ball.
James Davis deflected the pass intended for Drew Pearson. It was intercepted by Otis McKinney. The Raiders had the ball at their 22-yard line. 44 seconds remain in the half. The Raiders, if they're interested, have 3 timeouts.
I've got a feeling they'll be interested.
They are. But let's be careful with it. And that pass caught by Frank Hawkins for a 3-yard pickup. So again, at halftime, a reminder, Peter Jennings reporting from New York on the crisis and the tragedy in Lebanon today. And, of course, we'll also be having a report on the New York Marathon. So stay with us at halftime. Now we have time out on the field. Marc Wilson comes over for instructions. A lot of action around the NFL today. Let's take a look at some of them. The Miami Dolphins being led by this man now in his 3rd start, the former Pitt All-American Dan Marino. This is action in the first quarter. No score. Marino fires and is complete to Nat Moore. And now the last play of the first quarter. Watch Marino again. He's got that speedster. Even with Cephalo out of the lineup, Juriel Harris out of the lineup, they got Mark Duper, and that set up an Andre Franklin touchdown in the second quarter. They made it 14-0 Miami. And watch this one now. Dan Marino again to Mark Duper. And, well, a questionable call. I don't think it affected the outcome of the game, but this is Mark Duper once again. You got to come down with 2 feet in bounds in this game. And Mark Duper came down with 1. In any event, the final score, Miami over Baltimore 21-7. Frank Kush has got Baltimore playing good football everywhere but home.
Take this show on the road.
And we've got this kind of game, 24-24. The Raiders with 34 seconds on the clock. They have a second down and 7. The Raiders now with 2 timeouts. Marc Wilson starting tonight in place of Jim Plunkett. A lot of pressure. Big fat contract in the pocket. Going against the undefeated Cowboys. And complete. And quickly, the Raiders trying to call timeout as Marc Wilson was able to get it to wide receiver Calvin Muhammad. And the first down is out at the 42-yard line. And the Raiders call timeout. They're down to 1. And we'll pick up the action as it took place today at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Second quarter, 7-0. Cincinnati leading. Brian Sipe hits Ozzie Newsome. 5-yard touchdown. That tied it at 7. Third quarter action is tied at 14. Sipe, Newsome once again. That put Cleveland on top 21-14. And let's pick it up in the fourth quarter now. It's 21-14 Cleveland. Kirk Schonert hands off to Charlie Alexander. 4-yard touchdown. That tied it at 21. What a football game it was. And with the score tied at 21, let's watch Brian Sipe once again. And you don't try to do it all in front of a wily old veteran like Ken Riley. Ken Riley taking it into the end zone, and Cincinnati defeats Cleveland, and that's a bitter rivalry, 28-21. That action earlier today. Meanwhile, Tom Flores has given last-second first-half instructions to Marc Wilson.
Ken Riley he's made some terrific plays in his career, hasn't he?
Tops in the game right now among active defenders.
Got to have it near 60. That's about 59 for him.
He's up there close. First down, Raiders. Ball at their own 42-yard line. Wilson, Todd Christensen's open.
Isn't that's pretty. That's the way to use that thing.
The Raiders now working down close to field goal territory. They got to get in fairly close with Chris Bahr. Here's Chris Bahr now warming up on the sideline.
He just got really wide open. You got good time to throw again. We usually always start by saying that, but this Todd Christensen, Frank mentioned, caught 11 balls last week, 3 touchdowns. Somebody's got to hit him quick right there. That's got to do a little bit more than that. That's Michael Downs trying to come back in there. Should have a little help somewhere in there. You got a short and a long coverage usually. O.J. was talking about it a little earlier.
So Todd Christensen gives the Raiders a first down at the 30-yard line, and the 80s, nothing but a passing game. You got the new rules. It's so prohibitive for defensive backs. You got a guy, Michael Downs, covering Todd Christensen, but Michael Downs couldn't do anything after he got 5 yards down the field.
Well, all the new rules are made to get more points on the board. It does put a lot of pressure on the defensive secondary. I think one of the reasons you see so many defensive backs holding out, there's 3 defensive backs holding out that was supposed to be a part of that Marc Wilson deal to the USFL.
You know, I think what really shows up what's happening is that there was a record percentage of completion set a year ago at 56%. This year, through the first 7 games, the percentage of completions was right up close to 59%. That's a big increase. The game is a passing game today. On first down, 18 seconds remaining. And Marc Wilson very wisely drilled that into the ground as Todd Christensen was picked up and covered well. Raiders stop the clock with no timeouts. They have 14 seconds.
Well, I think they're reaching the point. If they complete a pass, it has to be in the end zone.
Or somebody will have to get out of bounds and stop the clock, or they will not be able to get a field goal unit out on the field.
This would, looking at that yardage there in the first half, you got to think somebody's not playing much defense. But the offense is that good.
Well, we went over 1,000 yards up in Green Bay last week. Green Bay and Washington. Second and 10.
You know,
Wilson under pressure.
I think it's a combination of you got good offenses and good defenses, but in professional football, usually the games kind of wind up being the kind of game that people want to see. Well, at least right now, people want to see a lot of scoring. And so it's Chris Bahr time here tonight.
And it was interesting. Marc Wilson, on third down, looked over to Tom Flores, indicated he wanted to kick. I don't think Tom Flores was going to put Bahr out there with 9 seconds remaining, maybe looking to get in a little closer for Chris Bahr. He's 6 of 10 on the year. His best for the year, 42 yards. He's had misses now from 26, 36, and from 41 yards this year. He's not having a good year, and this will be a 48-yard attempt. It's a fake. Man is open.
Not by much.
Wilson was under pressure.
Oh, they called interference.
And pass interference, 3 seconds remaining.
Anthony Dickerson.
Don Hasselbeck, intended receiver. Wilson under pressure. Hasselbeck deep downfield, interfered with, and the Raiders will have 3 seconds. And boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be a tough decision.
Defensive pass interference. 51 will run an untimed down.
Far be it from me to get into any kind of pass interference, because I don't know, but we'll look at it again.
There was no chance for him to catch this ball.
That's what I was going to say. I thought a ball had to be catchable.
Well, maybe if he could have started back. No, I think there was no chance for him to catch that ball.
Now, the question is, the Raiders have the ball at the 1-yard line. The score is tied, but they have no timeouts. And they are going to go for the 6 points.
I love it. That's the way to play football.
So they are sacrificing a sure go-ahead 3 points here at halftime, looking for 7.
I like that kind of football.
A rollout to give Marc Wilson an option. Drills it into the end zone. And it's Todd Christensen. That's his 4th touchdown thus far in 2 games.
And look at Marc Wilson. He said, you bet. I'm worth a little bit more.
Well, you call it, Frank. You said that Flores didn't appear to have much confidence in Bahr from 48 yards, and he didn't. And I don't think he planned for it to turn out quite this way, but you got 6 points and possibly 7 coming up.
You saw a guy turn around in there like he's lost. Angelo King, he's a linebacker that comes in, doesn't play a lot. He did get lost. That was his man.
Another thing you can do with Marc Wilson, Don, I think, and you, O.J., I think Wilson had an option on that. If he didn't have a receiver,
that's right,
he could run it in.
It's a popular play down on the goal line.
Chris Bahr for the conversion, and the Raiders have moved the ball the length of the field, and they have taken a halftime lead. 31-24. Time had expired on the touchdown pass. Marc Wilson to Todd Christensen, and let's take a look at the youngster's reaction. He looks back and finds Christensen. He said, all right, I did it.
That's right.
Happy to have the chance to begin to earn some of that $4 million.
That's the truth.
Reputed $4 million.
We'll look it up, but I doubt if anybody's ever scored 31 points on Dallas in the first half. We'll have to check on that.
Never thought.
We'll be ready for our halftime feature, so stay with us. Right after this message, and then a word from our local stations.